Okay, everybody, thanks for coming. Big crowd. All right. I hope I don't disappoint you too much, but my name's Alex Karklins. I work at CU Online, and we're going to talk today about creating interactive videos. More specifically, we're going to talk about this tool that's going to be rolling out very, very soon for everybody to use, hopefully to deliver video content in your courses. So, obviously this title is taken from a famous New York movie. You can notice there's a very New York theme and all this kind of stuff. This one's kind of a little disturbing, Taxi Driver, but so we won't delve too much into that. But what this talk has grown out of is a process that I've been looking at since I arrived here almost 2 years ago, about finding a video solution that creates some interactivity with videos, with online videos, specifically lecture type content or presentation type of content in an online course. Most of us know it's best practice not to just put on a full hour-long or 45-minute recorded lecture online, because minds tend to wander, especially when you're taking an online course. And so there's this, I'm quoting a study here that was done in 2015 talking about interpolated quizzing during a video recorded lecture. And you see that the benefits to adding activities within recorded content is it boosts, it basically prevents minds from wandering, because they know that they're going to be, students are going to be potentially quizzed on the material. It'll increase note-taking, increase learning, and improves the calibration between predicted and actual performance. That's meaning the student has watched the video, they made it through the video, and they think that they know the content, and that doesn't really calibrate with their actual learning, because they're like, oh yeah, I watched it. I was on a different tab on Facebook or something like that while it was playing, but I went through it. I think I understand the concept. This actually helps improve that calibration. So we looked at a couple of different solutions, but basically, like our core needs for this kind of platform would be, we want some place where we can host original videos. We also need to have that interactivity, whether it's annotation or commenting or quizzing, some sort of interactivity platform for this. It has to have a really good, seamless Canvas integration, because we know that instructors and students use Canvas as their primary point of contact, and to send students or faculty out to a different system, a third-party system, without that level of integration is really kind of asking a lot. It's not, our population is like, okay, we want to make it easy. We want to roll this all in together. We also want to have decent analytics. We want to, instructors will have videos in their course, let's say from YouTube or another source. They don't really have any good analytics as to how the students interacted with that video. Did they just watch a little bit of it? Did they watch the whole thing? We want to have that data as well, so that as an instructor you can go through and you can see, okay, this student is not performing as well as they, as I had hoped. Let's go through and see if they're actually engaging with the content. You can go through, and that's what we want to have. And lastly, it has to be easy to use. Otherwise, nobody's going to use it. So we had an experience with a couple of different products before leading up to what I'm going to be talking about today. We were an early pilot with Instructure's ARC product. That's basically, it's built by Canvas, so of course their Canvas integration is going to be really, really great. But we found it really just satisfied a very particular use case. It was a video hosting site, so you had to be responsible for creating your own video content. Then you had to upload it to the service. And the interactivity that it allowed was basically just commenting on the timeline. And that was it. And there also had some analytics as well. We found that it wasn't really, it didn't really help anybody get to, like, as far as help anybody with the production of the video, and it didn't have things like quizzing, or at that time it didn't allow you to import outside videos in and allow you to get that interactivity and analytics. So after piloting that, we kind of decided to move on and look at some other things. If you were here last year, I did a presentation on Zaption. We were really excited about this product. Although the videos had to be hosted elsewhere, like on YouTube, but it had a bunch of tools for quizzing, lots of different question types. It had an inline discussion as well, annotation tools. We were all stoked to roll this out to a large pilot, and then they got bought by a company called Workday, and they shut down their educational platform, which was a bummer. But it also resulted in a lot of schools reaching out directly to, or not a lot of schools, a lot of startups reaching out and saying, "Hey, are you sad about Zaption going away? We'll have a look at our product." So we looked at one of those products called PlayPosit. They were kind of a Zaption clone. They had a lot of the same functionality. Just wasn't as user friendly as Zaption was. And also there was a small startup, and we're a little bit wary now. We didn't want to get Zaptioned again. And they're great people. I mean, I talk to the founder, Sue, regularly, and she's great. She's really excited about this, but I think we're just kind of a little gun shy. So our final stop was TechSmith Relay. TechSmith is an established company. They've been doing things like lecture capture, screen sharing, and video editing. They're probably their most popular or well-known product is something called Camtasia. But Relay is what we've kind of settled on right now. We went through a pilot this past semester. About 13 instructors and different academic support staff participated in this, and we polled them, surveyed them afterwards. Got decent enough response on that. They promised they'd all do surveys, but not all of them did. But we basically added these 13 users to a pilot environment. We added their Canvas integration to each course, and we had several use cases tested for this. We didn't provide them with a whole lot of training. Gave them just a little bit of an introduction to how it works, and just let them go free. And then, for the most part, of the responses that we got, a lot of them were mostly overall positive, and they reinforced, I think, a lot of what I had experienced with Relay to that point. I've had some previous experience with the very basic version of Relay at another institution where it was basically just strictly a lecture capture and hosting thing. But this platform that I'm going to show you is a little bit more robust. So, what is this? So the core of Relay is it's a desktop lecture capture system, meaning you install a client that looks like this on your computer. You give it a title, you hit record, and it immediately records your screen, and it records your voice. So if you have a presentation going on, it'll record that. You can progress through that lecture and go through and basically have that recorded and then hosted on Relay's website. So when you hit that record button, once you hit stop, you can trim up. You can do a little bit of basic trimming with this tool. You can trim off the beginning or end of the presentation. You hit submit, and immediately it gets sent there. You don't have to worry about downloading a file. I know some instructors here have used Zoom to record their lectures. They just start a Zoom meeting, do a recording, but you got to know where that file is living. You can't edit it or anything like that. And then you have to worry about hosting it somewhere, either uploading it directly to Canvas or putting it on YouTube or something like that. This one is a little bit, it's a lot slicker because you basically just record that. You'll also see that you can upload original media too. So let's say you have some existing recordings, you can upload those to Relay's website, and you can add things like the in-video quizzing to those recordings before. So you don't have to necessarily redo that content that, let's say, you've already recorded. You can upload that and then add some of those features like the quizzing and get the good analytics that Relay has. Yes?
When you want to upload a video, I ran into an issue here. Does that have to come from YouTube? Or can you upload it originally before?
This one would be for the original MP4, but within the Relay site, I'll show you how you can add a YouTube video directly through the Relay site as well.
Because I had the original MP4 and I couldn't get it to work. But
Okay. Maybe we can look at it afterwards, but yeah, but with that, it accepts, I think, like an MP4 MOV files. I think that's pretty standard, standard stuff. But yeah, let's have a look at that later on. Yes.
If you wanted to edit the captured lecture more, like could I take it to ScreenFlow to cut more?
You could, but I'm actually gonna touch on that a little bit, and I have an even better solution. So basically, the quiz, the core features of TechSmith Relay are, as we mentioned, the desktop recorder. You can actually take and import YouTube videos and add that quizzing and analytics layer to those, but just by grabbing the URL of that YouTube video and putting it into your TechSmith Relay library. There's a quiz editor. It has some of the basic quiz questions like multiple choice, true, false, short answer. You can also do a survey question, an ungraded survey. It allows you to upload original videos when it works. You also have the analytics. You can see basically when your students. The thing is with Relay is that students sign into it, whether it's through the link that you provide them or through the Canvas integration. The viewers are associated with that video automatically, so you can see by name how your students are interacting with that video. It also allows you to directly export your Camtasia or Snagit projects directly to the Relay server. So let's say if you're using something like Camtasia, which is a great video editing tool, you just click a button. And it might actually just sign in to Relay, but it sends it directly into your library. No worrying about exporting a file, hosting it somewhere else. And then there's also a mobile app as well that lets you capture stuff like on your smartphone as well and send that to your Relay library. So some of the use cases before I get into the demo part of this. So the main is basically flipping the classroom, doing your online lecture delivery. Let's say if you're teaching a face-to-face course, you can put your lectures online and have your students view the lectures that way, but also provide some quizzing in there, which allows for those knowledge checks. You can see, you can make sure that students are getting the material, and you get the feedback as to how well they're doing. The quizzing feature in Relay is I think by design, allows for multiple attempts. So students can watch it over and over if they need to, and take the quiz again. It's not designed for like a high-stakes kind of assessment thing. You only get one shot at this. It's more for a knowledge check. You can grade them as well. So you can assign a point value to them, and it'll talk to the Canvas gradebook and populate a grade. You could create an assignment just for the video itself, and it will grade them based on the amount of video that they watched. They'd probably learn that trick pretty quickly, but the first time might be kind of amusing. If they got a 25% on their assignment or less. And then for the most part, it can also host original video projects. Let's say you have students in a course that have a video project, and they've edited it on their own software. Let's say they use Premiere or Final Cut or iMovie or something like that. You can host it there as an assignment. They can submit it that way. Same thing for if you're teaching an online course and you want to have a presentation assignment. This is available to students too. They can record it. They'll put it in their own TechSmith Relay library, and then they can submit that as an assignment in Canvas. You can go and review that and give them a grade for it. It works pretty seamlessly that way. Collaborate on one project. You can have groups within Relay, like outside of the course, where you share different videos together. But as far as working on the same project, no. But you could have different iterations of the same project and put it together in a group. That would work as well.
Do the students have access to the quizzing? Can they build in quiz questions and everything?
If they want to, yeah. Yeah, they have they'll have the same type of access. But of course, since they're not instructors in the Canvas course, they wouldn't really deploy it as an assignment or anything like that. But you can post your own content via the Canvas integration. All right, so let's jump out of here and look at a demo. So. Yeah, I imported this, but I'm really not going to play it or add anything to it because language. I didn't realize the language that was in there. But I'll show you what this looks like once we import a YouTube video into Relay. This is one that was just added as something that we have on YouTube. And let's load it. So when you add a YouTube video, you basically just post a URL in there when you add it, and I think I've had it on this page for a while, so it might take a second. Here we go. And this is our winter webcamp video. It kind of pulls in the information right from YouTube. You can see that there's an area where you can add quizzing. There's a spot for analytics. You can also reset the data of certain videos. Let's say you're reusing the exact same URL for a given semester. You can go through and reset that data after a semester and just start from scratch. You also have different privacy levels. What that looks like is, by default, it's anyone from your organization, meaning they have to authenticate in. So you can share the URL of the video with somebody, but they just have to log in. There's also a public setting, which I wouldn't recommend so much. I think there's limited use cases for that. Or you can make them totally private if you just want to host something for yourself. But let's go ahead and show you what the quizzing looks like.
I don't know how to get started on my Canvas course. Are you going to help me or not?
And so once you get to the first quiz question, you go ahead, and you might recognize this was David Thomas, and this is Amy Osetinsky, one of our instructional designers. So you take the quiz and say, what character from Better Off Dead is David playing? Does anybody know the character of Better Off Dead? Oh, it was Lane Meyer. Submit the answers, and you immediately get some feedback, whether it's correct or incorrect. You can go ahead and view your answer. You can hit continue.
All right. Here's what you're gonna do. Go that way, really fast. If something gets in your way, turn.
Amy's character's name, Better Off Dead, was... Anybody know? Anyone? That would be Charles DeMar.
What a coach. All right, I'm going to try this.
And will you attend winter webcamp? Well, it's already too late, so I'm going to say no. And then you can give reasons. You can have multiple questions at a given quizzing point as well. And so. Yes.
Are these sets that I can't keep watching until I get it right? Or?
Well, you can set feedback options. Like you can, let's say, if there's an incorrect answer, you can jump back to a point in which that was covered, or you can jump to a separate URL. Let's say a part in your Canvas course that went over that material. And so there's some abilities for branching within this as well. It's pretty cool. And so when we load up analytics, this is probably not going to be very interesting because I think I'm the only one that's actually watched it or taken the quiz. But you'll actually, let's go to quiz, view the results. And you'll also, for each quiz that you've deployed, you'll get a daily report with a CSV that has all the results in it too. So you can number crunch on those if you want to. So basically, at the end of every day, it tallies together all these results and then and shows it to you as well. So you don't have to necessarily go in and check every day. You'll get an automatic email and say, "Oh, great, this is what happened here." And why are we not getting our quiz results? Let me Yay for live video, live software demos. All right. But so let's just go over.
I have a quick question. So
Yeah.
when it gives you the quiz results, does it have like the students and what the results were, so then you could, if you wanted to make it an assignment,
Yes.
put it into a grade book? Is
Yes.
there any way to connect it directly to the Canvas grade book?
Yes, absolutely. So let's have a look here. I'm going to actually log out of this for a second here. I'm going to go into a test course here. And I can, if I want something that's graded with Relay, I can just add an assignment. All right? And this will be... And this is kind of the confusing part of it too, because if you're just posting content from Relay, you'll have the ability to go in and browse your library right from the content editor. But I'm actually not going to do that in the case of a graded assignment. You actually deploy it a different way in order for it to create a gradebook column. So, and what you'll do is basically add it as an external tool. It'll be a TechSmith Relay. And let's go, oops, save. And it should, it's supposed to load up right here and give me my library. Let's give it a second here. Oh, here we go. And it'll let you select from your Relay library exactly what video you want to use. So let's go ahead and add, it was going to be this one. Add it, and it'll appear in line. So if you were just deciding to share content without the quizzing, you could just add it within that content editor like I showed you, and it will deploy it right in your course.
You set the scoring in Relay.
I set the scoring actually in Canvas. I would kind of you'd want to make sure that you align the number of questions on your Relay video with the number of points, because it's just basically going to kind of fudge a percentage in that case. You'll see once it's up there, it'll load in line. Students can watch it, and the quizzes will appear right there. So, and then the basic workflow too is the Relay recorder too. If you're doing an original screencast here, you just record it with this tool, and then you can do some minimal editing at the beginning or end of it. And then submit it directly into there. You can also add, use your camera, like your webcam, if you wanted to have that. And with the basic Relay recorder, this position is fixed. It's the lower right-hand side at all times. So if you want to have some have your webcam on while you're giving a lecture, you can do that, or not. You can turn it off. So let's jump back into the presentation. So, when will this be available? It's available right now. You can use it whenever you want. You can log into, it's ucdenver.techsmithrelay.com. You'll be able to authenticate in and start creating projects right away. What you'll do is you'd log in. There's a section to download the recorder for your particular type of computer, whether it's a Windows PC or a Macintosh. And you can start recording right away, and it'll start building out your library. The cool thing that I was kind of holding on to the end here is that once our full license takes effect on July 1st, we're still in the pilot period right now till the end of June. Once that gets processed and we go through there, we'll have a site license for faculty and staff for both Camtasia and Snagit software, which will let you use some more robust editing tools and import those directly into your TechSmith Relay library. This was kind of the clincher for us. We were like, this is pretty cool. They gave us a pretty decent deal on a site license, something that we really couldn't say no to. Yes?
Is it Camtasia 9?
It's the latest version of Camtasia, whatever it is.
The old one you can
Yeah.
upgrade it?
Yep. Yeah, the new version is pretty slick. Yes?
How does this compare? We use Nocto,
Yeah.
and it looks like there's some overlap. How does this compare to Nocto?
This is more of a DIY solution because I know that the use of Panopto here on campus is basically for lecture hall type recording for the most part. Although there is also a self-recording feature as well. Yeah. It is. So this would, especially when you have Camtasia here, you can do some heavy editing on that. You can also add those external videos, like those YouTube videos, and bring them into your library. And I actually I did a little bit of research on other institutions that are using Relay. Boise State are using it in the way that we're probably going to do it. And they actually were using Panopto, and they chose to replace their classroom recording system for Panopto with Relay by just basically integrating a webcam into their classrooms and having the instructor just go in there and hit record, and it saved it right away. And so basically took that really, really expensive room system. I think they had Panopto. They also had MediaSite, which is known for being super expensive. They scaled that down and just used Relay for that going forward. So there is some overlap too, but I think this covers a lot more use cases. And so we're pretty excited about rolling this out. Hopefully they don't get bought out and, and shut down. Yes?
So will students be able to use the TechSmith Relay?
They'll be able to use Relay. They'll be able to use that Relay recorder on their own, whatever they want to do.
So they just do the same thing that we do?
They do the same thing with, just using the core product. Our site license for Camtasia and Snagit would also cover computer labs. So if they're based on campus here, we can install those probably not on the thin clients that they have there, but like the Macintosh stations. We'll be able to install those on there in case they want to do some heavier editing and publish it directly to their Relay library. But yeah, students will have that, and I think this is just a perfect solution for those of you who wanted, especially teaching online classes. You still want your students to do a presentation. This is the way to go, I think. So, any other questions? We have a couple more minutes here, but yes. Okay, yeah, this you're not going to be able to do it right now because you don't have it installed on your course right now. But once we have the actual integration set up, and I would just you can contact me or the CU Online Help Desk or whatever if you decide that you want that campus integration right away, and then we'll install it for you. But the way that you get in to edit is if you go and edit the assignment settings, there's usually an option down here for no submission online or external tool. And if it's installed in your course, you open it and you just find, I've got a bunch of stuff in here, but yeah, if you want the Canvas integration, you want to have that installed just so you can have access to your library, or for your students can have access to their own TechSmith Relay libraries within your course. Yes?
If you use this instance of Camtasia, where are the files hosted? Are they hosted by TechSmith?
They're hosted by TechSmith, yeah.
So, because I do a lot of fine detail editing.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, Camtasia sound editing is inadequate.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to build. I need that on my own machine.
So I'm sorry. I use Audacity. Yeah.
For sound recording.
Okay.
It's more sophisticated.
Yeah.
So I need all those files in one place.
You can still take those other files and with this recorder go through and upload those finished files. Let's say you've used another video editing program or an audio editing thing to kind of clean up your project if you're not necessarily using Camtasia. You can take that finished file and just add the media here. Then it moves it into Relay for hosting, and then you can add that other stuff too, like the quizzing and have the analytics as well. So it allows you that flexibility as well. And let's say you've also previously recorded, used Zoom to record a lecture, and you have those files on your computer. Just go ahead and upload them directly to here, and you'll have that ability to you'll have that hosting, you'll have those analytics, this quizzing and stuff. Yeah.
there any recommendations for tutorials?
Well, when we roll this out, we'll be doing a lot of trainings and one-on-ones, but they're online, just on TechSmith.com. They have a lot of great step-by-step tutorials, both video and just text tutorials on getting started. Pretty thorough, pretty good, and also with Camtasia too. So imagine, we'll have some TechSmith Relay stuff, but we'll probably also have some more in-depth Camtasia type of trainings coming up in the near future too. We're kind of doing a soft launch right now, so you're the privileged few to get in on that early, but very excited about the possibilities here. Yes.
So when is it going to be in Canvas where we don't have to ask you to upload it into Canvas?
We're still discussing that. I kind of wanted to do it right away, like right when our license took effect, but there have been some discussions too about like the possible help desk type of considerations. Where people are like, "What's this R doing in my class?" So we're still ironing that out. I would like to eventually just have it in there because I think that just makes it easy. But for the most part, it's not too difficult. You just copy and paste a few things in there and add it to your course. And we'll have our help desk will be able to help assist with that. Yes, Michelle. No, get started right away. Yeah, you'll have access right now. It's tied to our regular authentication system. So as an active CU Denver user, you can go right to, let me bring up the URL again, ucdenver.techsmithrelay.com. And it should let you log in and authenticate and get started right away.
So then once we're authenticated in there, then will it show on Canvas, or do we have to?
No, still need to add it separately, yes. Yeah. So let me know. All right, I think we're just over by a couple minutes, but I'll be here. I'll be free to talk to you a little bit longer if you.